Hi, my name's Maggie Sunsera. I'm a fiber artist. I work in my yard. My studio is my house, so come and join me today. I started around 2000. I decided to learn how to dye some cloth for a quilt, and I took a class at the Appalachian Center for the Crafts on dyeing. That sounds kind of funny, but that's how I talk about it. So from there, I grew from just dyeing silk scarves to now I dye towels, napkins, and blankets. I usually work with a natural fiber. I do cotton, I'll do silk, I'll do bamboo rayon, and I'll do linen. Rayon is actually a natural fiber. It's a mixture of fibers, so it is considered a natural fiber. I also use a silk wool blend, just to get different colors. First, we're gonna take the bloom off the indigo. And I mixed all my solutions earlier today because you have to let it sit for a couple of hours. And it creates what they call an indigo bloom at the top. And you take that bloom off, it's actually just foam. You take that off before you start to dye, because that has dye in it you can use later. You want to keep your vat as vaporless as possible. You want to keep the air out of it as much as possible. So you don't allow, you try not to let drips go back into your vat. So we're going to pull this piece out. I've wrapped this on a piece of PVC pipe. So I'm going to put it in. We're going to let it sit there for a few minutes. You normally should let your material soak in this soda ash for 10-15 minutes. So we're going to, you want to pull it out, you want to pull it out quickly because you don't want any drops going in. The more drops go in, the more oxygen goes into your vat. It also will not be blue when I pull it out. This is the best part of it. I love this part because it's green. And it's because of the oxidation that changes the color, and it slowly will turn to blue. Now when it's wrapped on a pole like this, it's called the arashi, which means storm. When you put it between blocks or you just wrap rubber bands around it, it's still shibori, or it's still tie-dye. But tie-dyeing is what is actually an ancient Japanese process. And it's actually wrapping material either in between blocks of wood or on a pole like I have it to add resist so that you're not allowing the dye to enter all the pieces of the material. Wherever I have the string tied around, the dye will not enter. I'm going to drop these back in again. The more times you drop back in, the darker your material will end up. I know it looks pretty dark now, but a lot of that will wash out. You wash this in a bath of ivory soap, and I just love that. And it has to soak for about 10 minutes. That's what keeps the indigo on the material. And it'll continue to turn blue or more blue. But there is my new t-shirt. This is a process I call silk to silk transfer. And I'm actually taking scraps of silk saris that they sell like a yarn, and I'm putting them on a blank silk scarf, wrapping them then in muslin, old bed sheets, and cooking them for 2 hours on a simmer in a roasting pot. So this is an unveiling, and I don't ever know what I'm going to end up with because the dyes never remain the same from the patterns. And it will lighten up when it dries, but there's my silk to silk transfer scarf. I learned this process by taking old silk ties and cutting them up and making a patchwork quilt design on a silk scarf, but it didn't always transfer completely. Either they had washed or dry cleaned their tie too much, and I never got a full transfer. But using these silk scraps, it will transfer every color. It will even transfer the minutest thread. You will see that. This was another one that when I dyed it, it didn't come out as dark as I wanted it to, so I re-dyed it. And I actually used a green and a blue scrap together, hoping to get some kind of a turquoise, and I hope that's what I've got. This is an ice dye process, so I lay it out on a piece of a bread rack and pour ice all over it, and then pour dye, dry dye over that and let it soak into the material. This is done with black dye only. When you're a home dyer, you cannot usually get pure black. It separates. So when we dye with my mixture, black is all colors and it separates. So you can see reds and yellows, but I did only use 2 black fiber reactive dyes. I want to thank the Art Center of Cannon County for their help in getting this video done. I have my work on display at the Art Center. I have been associated with the Art Center for over 25 years. It helped me raise my children there. It's a great place to be.